But Christ, this is not an easy job. It's not.
The Matrix. I'm talking about the systems which have been.
Okay. So here's to talk about the Matrix.
Talk about the Matrix.
Whatever that is.
I'm talking about the systems which have been created by society, which are deliberately designed to enslave.
Yeah, capitalism. Based.
And you're existing inside of a system which is deliberately rigged.
The Matrix is trying to control your mind. They're very good at it.
But who is they? Who is the Matrix? I know definitely some people in will say, you know, well, or at least will think the Jews. But I'm really interested into who he thinks runs everything. Like, what is the Matrix? The Matrix was originally an allegory for, you know, waking up to the Wachowski sisters, waking up to their true gender identity and expressing that. And I really laugh every time conservatives just co-opt leftist art, you know, for their own aesthetics without actually doing some introspection and actually analyzing the core themes of that art. It's like Fight Club. They're exclusively obsessed with the strongman aesthetic, but with absolutely none of the subtext in that story.
Andrew's the biggest threat to the government system because he's constantly exposing it and waking people up.
Right, yeah. No, not because he was an absolute social media pariah and having an insanely large controversial figure online is just bad for business. No, it's because he's some sort of like rogue threat to the State Department. Like, do you realize how conspiratorial and how deifying of this man you sound? So, obviously, this is made by a but I downloaded it because he just sounds obsequiously servile and sycophantic towards, like, Christ. The strongmanning and the bootlicking is insane with this kid.
To the truth.
Everything you see on TV is a control mechanism. They're trying to control you. They're trying to
Wait, like spinning a narrative? That's just content.
damp in your life force.
This
Also, I downloaded it because TJ, the Amazing Atheist, covered it, and I thought it was a really good video to go on my stream.
ultimately led to all of his accounts getting banned. He even warned us that death could be.
Okay, that's because he's bad for business. He's too controversial. He's this massive, massive, massive symbol of online misogyny, and just this, you know, really emblematic figure that purely embodies toxic masculinity, which toxic masculinity not being any and all masculinity like the right tries to strawman it as, but just, you know, destructive behaviors commonly prescribed to men, if that makes sense.
Next step.
Now I have to make sure they don't try and me, because what happens if we don't shut up?
I like how that's a subtle admission that he's sort of steeny in his ways. Like, well, okay, governments across the world are trying to me because of my nefarious doings. Like what nefarious doings? What nefarious doings? You know, stop and going, you know, non-consenting women? Yeah. Can we probe this guy? Can we investigate what he's up to? Because if he's admitting, okay, some of these people might try to end my game when I'm in my prison cell, then, well, let's investigate what you're up to, sir. And your cronies along the way.
Actually, that's what comes next. So
In this video, we're going to dive deep into what Andrew Tate is truly trying to expose.
Who? I'm trying to expose capitalism. And it seems fundamentally every right-winger is trying to expose a Jewish group of some sort. But, you know, continue. Like, offer me something of substance. Challenge me. Change me. Give me a way in which I can make the world better, please. Because that, to me, is what substantive content
by some
is.
freak accident, our graves end up next to each other. Everyone's going to read my headstone and ignore yours because you're average. And
Why would I care? Why would I care? Because I'm flippin' dead. I don't have the capacity to process the fact that everybody's looking at your gravestone and not mine. So, yeah, actually, let's say you and I get buried in the same place. I don't think our last names are, well, maybe cemeteries don't actually organize by last name. They probably organize by family, don't they? But let's say I've severed all connections with my family, and you and I get buried together right next to each other, and we both have the same tombstone, right? Why would I give a crap? Why would I give a care? Because I'm dead. I don't have the capacity to process that everybody's sycophantic towards you and everybody's remembering you after death. You know why? Because I'm dead. I don't have the capacity to care. I'm flipping dead. How could I even remotely care? It just doesn't make sense, sir.
There is nothing worse on this planet than Mr. Average.
The name Andrew is very controversial, but even if you don't agree with
Okay, well, no, sometimes being average is better than being the worst. So, okay. Let's say, let's say there are three tiers of people. People who have achieved a lot in their life, people who have of average achievement, and people of no achievement. Obviously, you should seek to be better, but just, like, average people are not the worst in handling their lives, okay? And then that's all I'm saying.
everything he says, there is truth in a lot of it. The Matrix is a term that Andrew constantly uses to define
truth in a lot of it. Okay, no, I think you're conflating truth with an obvious statement, because truth is something that not a lot of people realize until it is spoken. An obvious statement is something we actively acknowledge and know to be the case. Tate and people, these self-help people like Jordan Peterson, just constantly say the obvious, and it takes them like a whole minute, and like that's not an exaggeration, a literal minute, to say what could have been said in 10 seconds.
Always knew that the Matrix existed.
The Matrix is...
But what is the Matrix? Just like anybody trying to spin a narrative? Okay. Obviously, I'm not really a fan of Chomsky now, but he has a whole book on manufacturing consent and how capital and the state as a wing of capital just manufacture, well, actively go out and produce consent and popular sentiment so they can just pursue what they want. But I don't know if that's what means by that, but okay.
real.
I've literally escaped the Matrix in nearly every form.
And the reason I call it the Matrix is because a false
Right.
reality is being projected onto humanity, and they do that by controlling
What is that false reality?
If we take a look at the movie, it almost perfectly correlates with our actual society. People are put into a fake system that is meant to stimulate the mind. And if you pay attention, real life
What is this fake system? Like, tell me what it is.
isn't too different from that. But not a lot of people realize it.
We live in a world where I don't think the average person realizes how much they are lied to. It's all a lie. It's all a scam. Just go to work, pay your taxes.
This is why there's so many powerful systems controlling the world. And one of them,
Okay, what is there beyond that? Like, obviously you can be happy, you can engage in recreational activities, but what's missing from my life?
main ones is called money. Money is used as a tool that can make almost anybody do anything. This is why we constantly go to a job that we hate. It's not
What, okay, so if the Matrix is money-making, and the general capitalistic order in and of itself, then why does constantly deify and pedestal entrepreneurship and money-making? It just doesn't make sense. Like, could it be that the red pill philosophy is actually incoherent and doesn't make sense? I don't know.
because you want to. It's because you get money for it. Many people agree that jobs are modern-day slavery. Andrew
Yeah, which is why we must liberate ourselves from the pain that is subsistence labor.
the entire
Are you a covert socialist, my man?
slavery system down, proving this theory right.
You used to be a slave and you'd work all day, and at the end you got food in the house. Now you work all day, you get money, and you spend all your money on a food and a house. A government would get slaves, make them work for free.
So if your problem is with capitalism, then you sound like a leftist. Is Tate a covert, albeit misogynistic leftist?
Build things. So they stopped doing that now. So what do now? They get people, make them build things for money. But the government print all the money. So if a government can create as much as they want of something from thin air, and you'll give up your life for this.
No, okay, you can't just print money and expect it to retain its value. That's just not how it works, because a certain finite amount of money is a realized quantification of represented labor time. And obviously, if a government prints more, then maybe the confidence, like that signals, oh, okay, maybe this economy isn't doing so great. I'm going to pull my investments out of this country. The labor pool, I don't have confidence in. So obviously, central banks can't just print as much money as they want.
Thing they can create from thin air as much as they want.
No, they can't make it out of thin air. Okay, so actually, banks can do this thing in which they actually create money to be used now, but realized probably with interest later. But again, the labor has to come from somewhere, and effort has to be exerted at one point or another.
Are still their slave. If you actually wake up and look around you, you realize you're being destroyed in real time.
Let me know by leaving a like
Yeah, by capitalism.
on this video if you believe that this theory is true. This is why it's so important to understand the system that we live in.
I'm just trying to conceive of what the Matrix is. Because on the one hand, generates entrepreneurship and money making. But at the same time, he claims the Matrix is the money making system, the rat race, the capitalist order. I don't get it. Like, this sounds incoherent.
We're able to understand it, use it, and take advantage of it. Andrew I'm an example of how this can actually happen because he understood the system, broke free from it, and now he's living freely and abundant while technically.
But, okay, well, if the Matrix, quote unquote, is the capitalist order, how do you break free from it by actively participating in it and like ultra participating in it? Because he loves entrepreneurship, he loves investing capital and making money. This just doesn't make sense. If the Matrix is the rat race, is capitalism, why would you lean into it more? So, are you saying that by leaning into the Matrix, you've actually liberated yourself from it? Could it be said that work sets you free? Nah. I'm just extrapolating things, aren't I? Let's add this back to the stream and continue.
Part of the system.
The best thing to do is to understand the rules of the game and find a way to win. Yes, the rich are always going to get richer, and that's the way the game is set up, so you still...
Then you haven't liberated yourself. Because, okay, for true liberation and dissolving the capitalist order as it stands, you've got to move towards a system that prioritizes human need over this absolutely almost incoherent conception of what profit is. Like, profit, this absolutely nebulous, useless concept that only just furthers the material gains of a select few, right? But to truly liberate yourself from capitalism, you need a social and economic mode of production that involves the production of subsistence goods and luxury goods based on human need. Okay? So how have you liberated yourself from the Matrix by working for it even more?
People need to find the best move on the chessboard. There's no point sitting there saying, I want to play a different game, because that's never going to happen.
The analogy he used was GTA.
No, it absolutely can happen. Okay, so I actually want to one-to-one with all y'all audience members. No one's watching now, but crap. I really wish someone was watching for this specific part, but I'll actually upload it. And maybe I'll do like a segment on this thing entirely on its own. So lately I've been watching a series of Japanese movies called Werewolf Game. I've done it for a few months now. And it's a series of 9 different movies, around 8 different movies in which there's a social deduction game that involves children who have been kidnapped and are forced to play until they're Robloxed out of existence. Now, I ask you, okay, you're placed into a deadly game of werewolf. Now, what are you going to do? Well, let's say this is completely real in real life. Personally, I'd be refusing to participate. Now, I wouldn't say to the higher-ups that are monitoring this game, well, I just refuse to participate, otherwise you're going to get strangled by your collar, or in the more recent installments, they've had it send a deathly shock through you. so you're instantly Robloxed. But I'd be the first one trying to find a blind spot in the camera and saw my collar off. Would be the first one to survive. He would be the first guy to strategize and to actively play into that system to try to survive. So one of us is operating outside the framework and saying, no, okay, screw this, it is unethical, and I'm not going to participate in it. Well, obviously, it's not exactly analogous because capitalism, unless you're living entirely off the grid, you have to participate in the capitalist system. And I will admit, markets have, brought me this lower middle class life, which, hey, it's better than being born in somewhere like, I don't know, Burundi or something. But I'd be the first one to say, hey, this is unethical. I absolutely do not like it and find it morally abhorrent. Be saying, okay, we've got only a finite number of people we can throw under the bus until we reach me. How do I feed everybody else on my team to the werewolf before I'm voted out? And how do I get them? All right? So what I'm trying to essentially say here is that they're essentially saying, okay, you're only liberated if you play into the system more. And I'm saying you're only liberated until you abolish the system entirely. Like, try to find which one of these ideas is coherent, or at least more coherent, okay? Like, come on.
Your character can't escape the game, but he can level up and make the game his own world.
You talk about
This is really ironic, because every single character in GTA is a massive victim of circumstance. Again, like, this awful interpretation of art. Like, if y'all want some sort of status quo movie, go for The Dark Knight, or maybe 300 or something, because this is just terrible analysis of art. The characters in GTA are born into this dire, awful circumstances in which they'd rather not be in. They're victims of their environments, and that's why the game is what it is. So for those of you who don't know, GTA is about being the best criminal you can be. Like, it's not about, it is to an extent about entrepreneurship, but a lot of your business he's like revealing stuff little by little here.
Hoes, meeting important people, getting the best car. They'll do all that in a game, but they won't do it in real life. I don't need to play a game for GTA. If I want a gun, if I want a car,
What if they can't? What if their lives are what if the circumstances just align themselves to where they can't do that?
fucking buy a car. It's me. I am GTA. And this is one big video game. You get to upgrade your character. You're not
So you're a highly wanted criminal. Well, actually, definitely telling the truth here.
born with any value. You have to decide if you want to complete it. You have to upgrade your character.
But how can you gain full control of your life and break free from the system? How can you make your life feel like GTA?
Yes, please answer this question. Holy flip. I've wanted that answer for, I think, maybe 10 minutes now.
Answer is simple. Learn how to control your mind. The main reason people are so caught up in
What does that mean?
the system is because the system has control over everyone's mind. Things like the news, social media, blogs, it consumes almost everybody's mind.
So for those of you on audio only, I'm like vigorously putting air quotes in front of these statements because, okay, what does control your mind mean? Just not watch CNN and switch over to clips? Okay, you're just consuming a new narrative. Like, I think the real way to liberate yourself from the capitalist system is to become a socialist and vote for leftist parties. And if there aren't any leftist parties representing you, vote for liberals, okay?
Very few people think for themselves.
The news told you X, and now you are desperate. You will sit here for hours arguing that point. No, but I saw the news. A lot of people are completely empty vessels ready to be programmed. The things they're telling you to believe are not necessarily for your benefit.
There's even a documentary on Netflix.
Okay, being informed is for my benefit, isn't it? Just having more knowledge in general. Even if I don't use it in a pragmatic way, isn't that, sort of self-development? Isn't that beneficial for me?
Called the social dilemma. They admitted that everybody that is active on social media is being watched and monitored very carefully.
What I want people to know.
Really? Like, oh, massive corporations that want sales and want money from advertisers who are willing to go miles up your are watching you 24/7? an overbearing government is watching you, I would have never thought. Just like Google up. Okay, this has been happening, since major developments in 21st century technology have appeared. Just look up Operations Shamrock and Operation Minaret. Okay, this isn't anything new, people.
Is that everything they're doing online is being watched, is being tracked. Every single action you take is carefully monitored and recorded.
So social media is ultimately a trap to keep our minds distracted from the truth and to feed us information that isn't.
What is that truth? Okay, like you haven't liberated yourself. You've just switched to a new narrative because, okay, if you're targeting disillusioned men, I think what you're saying is stop watching CNN and start watching clips. That's just what this sounds like to me. Whereas my solution is, okay, vote for socialists. That's it. That's how we liberate ourselves from the capitalist order as it exists.
But the problem is most of us fall right
Speed
into
this
the trap
up.
because it's entertaining and it's easy to access. Whatever narrative is created by the Matrix can easily
Like, what's stopping me from saying your content isn't a trap? Your narrative isn't the Matrix.
get pushed through the media.
That's what they do to control all of us. You have to break the trap. If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life. You can't
What is
control anything besides what
controlling
you
your
think.
mind?
So why are you not controlling your own mind? It's your asset. It's your ally. It's your friend. Why would you make an enemy out of the only thing you have control over?
You will truly be able to break free from the Matrix if you learn the power of your mind. Believe it or not, changing your mindset and waking up to the truth can be as easy as you make it. And you that you can blink to solve all your mindset problems.
It's a conscious decision. If you find yourself unable to focus and concentrate on
What is controlling your mind?
tasks, you must blink and cure your brain. If you find yourself unable to go and dedicate yourself to something you don't want to do, you must blink and cure your brain. The way the mind functions has changed so significantly in the last 10 years you wouldn't believe.
So do you believe you can actually solve your problems with a blink? Let me know down below. We talked about the possibility of living inside of a Matrix, but we never talked about why it actually exists. So what is the agenda of the Matrix?
It's just narrative control.
Right.
The agenda is narrative control, and as long as they control a narrative, they can control the populace to do whatever they need them to do. You change all the Google search results, everything online says a certain thing must be true. They prevent people from talking to counter to that narrative.
So
They outline
SEO
reality,
is the
and then you use it
Matrix.
to weaponize it.
Okay. Tell that to all these, like, entrepreneurial coaches who are constantly telling me, okay, this is how you SEO. This is how you get more business. Like, is that the Matrix? I think you're talking about, again, capitalism, my dude.
As if you're on benefit.
If this video is starting to change your perspective, be sure to smash that like button so YouTube can push this to more people.
I don't even know what this video is saying. Like, change your mind. Okay, what does that mean?
Andrew at an extremely fast rate. He was getting very close to taking over social media with his ideas. But since most of his ideas went against the system, he had to be stopped. All of his accounts were instantly and permanently banned.
No, he was just bad PR.
With no explanation.
Nobody told me, whether it was YouTube that banned me or Meta that banned me, instantly and forever without any kind of correspondence.
Now there's many
They
theories
all
on why this
banned
could
you.
have happened, but the one that makes the most sense is that Andrew actively changing the world while also exposing it. The media feared that too many people will
Ooh, such a freaking rogue. No, could it be that he's highly misogynistic and people don't want bad business because advertisers were going to pull out over him? Yeah, I think it's that.
wake up from the truth. Because people will control the narratives of their own life and the elites will lose power.
Then something has to change. They don't want anything to change. So they try and keep this population subdued. And I'm telling them to do the opposite. I'm telling them to think.
And like I said earlier, there are many systems set in place for a reason, which is to make sure this matrix is ran a certain way. But Andrew in the system and waking up late.
Okay, the Matrix is capitalism. Like, by controlling our minds, like, how do we get out of it? Like, this only actually tells you to delve into the Matrix even more than you're already in it.
People a day.
Our main message is to resist the slave mind. I say this all the time. To understand that every single thing you're being told has an agenda behind it, or you would be told otherwise. To
Do you not have an agenda?
examine every strongly held belief you have and try and identify where it comes from and why you have it.
He was even starting to get more attention than our own U.S. president.
I was the most Googled man on the planet. Wasn't Donald Trump? Wasn't Joe Biden?
That's a lie. I think some fact-checking website debunked that. Actually, it turns out Alec Baldwin was the most searched query on Google.
How was that Google?
And not only because of how he felt about
In 2021, 2022? Yeah.
Let me know what you think about Andrew in the world. Do you believe
Okay,
he's actually
well,
living in the
I
matrix?
don't
And do you
even
believe
know
they're being
like
controlled by his system?
what
If
you're
wanna see more
even
videos-
saying, my dude. All right. It's been 40 minutes. I'll pick up some more tape.